Odds against an event. A pair of fair dice is rolled. Part A, what is the probability of rolling a sum of 8? First, I'm going to write the sample space of rolling 2 die or a pair of die. And remember, a dice has 6 sides to it, and we can label these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this set can represent dice 1, and then dice 2 is the same. It has 6 sides, so we can label them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now to write my sample space of all outcomes of rolling a pair of die, I'm just going to create a chart. And the columns of my chart are going to represent the outcomes or choices of dice 1. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then my rows are going to represent dice 2, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now I'm going to list the outcomes in the middle of the chart. And I want to know the probability of rolling a sum. So that means I'm going to add the 2 digits that appear on the dice together. So for instance, if I rolled a 1 on my first dice and then a 1 on my second dice, my sum would be 1 plus 1, which is 2. Instead of writing the ordered pair of 1, 1, which is the outcome, I'm going to just write the sum in the chart. So the first sum is the sum of having a 1 on the first die and a 1 on the second die. So 1 plus 1 is 2, so I'm going to write a 2 here. My second sum is having a 1 and then a 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. My third is a 1 and a 3, so that would be a sum of 4. And I can continue this as writing a sum of 5, 6, and 7 for my choices. And I'll just continue this process for rolling a 2, and then I have a 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 3 is 5, 2 plus 4 is 6, and then I have 7 and 8. And again, I'll just complete my chart by writing the sum of these digits on the dice. Here I have a completed chart, and inside the chart represents the sums. Part A asks me to find the probability of rolling a sum of 8. So I'm going to highlight all the 8s I see inside the chart. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8s. Now probability is NE over NS. And this just says the number of times that an event occurs over all total possible outcomes. So the number of times that 8 occurs in my chart is 5 times. So my numerator is 5. And the total number of outcomes within the chart, if we count all of these up, is 36. There's 36 sums in my chart. So this would be 5 over 36. And 5 over 36 cannot be reduced, so my probability is just 5 over 36. That's the answer to part A. B, what are the odds against rolling a sum of 8? Here I'm going to find the odds against. And this formula is the probability of the complement of an event over the probability of the event. Now, the probability of the complement is found by 1 minus the probability of the event. So I want to find the complement of rolling a sum of 8. So this would be 1 minus the probability of rolling a sum of 8, which is just 5 over 36. And then to subtract fractions, I have to have a common denominator, but the number 1 can be written as 36 over 36. And then I'll subtract 5 over 36. And then to subtract, we just keep the denominator of 36 and then subtract the numerator. So 36 minus 5 is 31. And this is the probability of the complement of rolling a sum of 8. And this will be my numerator, which is 31 over 36. Then I have a fraction bar, and then I'm going to write the probability of the event, which we found in part A, and that was 5 over 36. Now this fraction bar represents division. So to make things a little easier, I'm just going to write this division problem using a division sign instead of a fraction bar. So I have 31 over 36 divided by 5 over 36. To divide fractions, you keep the first fraction, you change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then you flip the second fraction. Now, once we change the problem to a multiplication problem, we can cancel factors on the top and bottom. So I have a 36 on top and a 36 on the bottom, which can cancel. Now I'm left with a 31 times 1 on top, which is just 31, and a 1 times 5 on the bottom, which is just 5. This is our answer to part B, but since this is odds, we're going to write it using the word 2. So the word 2 goes in the middle of two numbers. The number on the left will be your numerator, which is 31, and the number on the right will be your denominator, which is 5. So the odds against rolling a sum of 8 is 31 to 5.